monster, for he went and cut us both pretty deep by using those weapons of his, but we'll be alright for the time being, Kaba, as we are only just a little on edge by what he went and just did to us, with Kale having to then chime in. And what's even more alarming was, I'm not sure that if the two of you had seen it, but after that demon had went and cut our hands open with those blades of his, he strangely enough had seemed to have taken great pride in having to make us both bleed, as if he was hoping that this would go and happen. Yeah, well, whatever it was that he was after, Caulifla responds, he clearly wasn't able to succeed in, but why would he then suddenly retreat back into that portal of his before he could go and capitalize on actually finishing what he came here and had started, Caulifla questions, because none of this now is starting to make any sort of sense, with Kaba having to then chime in, and so it is clear to us all now on what it is that we have to go and do, as we are hereby left with no other choice and must go and seek out and speak with King Sadala in regards to this matter immediately, Kaba says, and that is simply because the two of you know just as much as I do that evil like that kind in which we have just encountered here doesn't just suddenly vanish without a trace, because we can all come to agreement in knowing that he will come back for us, and when he does, Kaba continues, he will return with the sole purpose of wanting to destroy everything that we have built here, and so that is why we have to go and warn the king and prepare for the worst, Kaba continues, as he is more than likely regrouping alongside his allies, and if we don't go and act quickly, then he'll more than likely catch us when we least expect for him to arrive, and we can't just go and leave that up to chance, Kaba says. And so while we still have some time that remains, we have to go and get a move on right now if we hope to go and change things, Kaba went on to then take off by then continuing. And so now let us go and hurry it up and go while we still have the time, so that we can go and try to get a leg up on those demons before they are able to go and do the same thing to us. Well, he's right, Caulifla went on to then respond, and so now let us go and get a move on then too, Kale, so that we can go and regroup and form a strong plan in case that monster and his minions return. To which it was only within that very moment, as Kale, Kaba, and Caulifla were then shown having to make their way hastily towards the king's castle, was when Kaba went on to then reflect by responding, now while I may not be entirely sure on what that creature meant when he talked about having to turn our own blood against us, I'm not just going to stand around here and wait for us to find out, especially if there are more of those demons that lurk within the shadows that many of us may not be fully aware of, but it's better for us to go and take action now before he returns, and if worse comes to worse and if we are stuck without a chance of having to drive these demons back where they belong, then we will have no other choice than to go and get the right person for the job in helping us go and put a stop to these monsters once and for all, and so my only hope is that I'm not too late, Kaba says. But then, it was only elsewhere within that very moment, as Whis had now finally found the location in which he was seeking out in having to speak with the creator of the Super Dragon Ball Zalama, was when Whis went on to then respond, and there it is, the sacred homeworld of the creator of the Super Dragon Balls themselves. For I can't really go on to remember the last time that I came onto this world, but it's better not to waste any more time than to go and see on what can be done, Whis continues, and if the great Zalama can go and help us in having to locate and retrieve the Super Dragon Balls in time before it's too late, Whis says. And while it has been quite some time since I was last seen having to visit Zalama, if there is anyone who would have any kind of information on where the Super Dragon Balls may be, then I have no doubt in my mind that Zalama is the perfect person who would be best suited in having to give us the information that we need in getting those Super Dragon Balls away from the hands of those demons and back within our possession. And so now here goes, and let us see if this works within our favor, Whis went on throw by then responding, venerable creator of the almighty and all-powerful Super Dragon Balls, I come to you during this desperate time in hopes of having a word with you in regards to an emergency situation that just so happens to involve the Super Dragon Balls. For I stand here before your sacred domain with the utmost respect in wish go and speak with you about this, as the situation itself is dire and also happens to concern the very fabric of existence itself if the situation isn't handled in due time. For we are here without an option, and I come to you for this very purpose, as the multiverse needs your help, Whis went on to then bow by responding, as both your brilliance and your craftsmanship have helped shape many realities along the way, but now the balance of those very same realities are at stake, and I come to your sacred world here to go and speak to you and having to seek out your guidance and intervention during this unprecedented emergency, and as I hereby ask for you to please come forward and reveal yourself, as I humbly come to you with the purpose of helping the Omni Kings as well, for I am afraid that time is quickly running out and I come to you with one final request at helping us solve this problem that we are facing before it is too late, oh great and wise Zalama. For I wouldn't have gone out of my way to come here if the matters themselves weren't as dire as I had described, and while there is nowhere left for us to go and turn during these troubling times, and I hereby kindly ask for you to